welcome. It is the biggest Sunday in football. Most people's whole year, it's probably the biggest Sunday. It is Super Bowl Sunday, and we've got the Pats, and we've got the Eagles, and this is the last episode of the season for Drinking with the Boys.
What? Hey, guys, Corey Stevens here. Chase couldn't even get out the words, biggest Sunday in the year for football fans, but that's what he meant to say.
It is, but you got people that'll argue that Easter is the
fumbling
biggest.
and stumbling over his words already.
I know.
He's only half a Budweiser in.
I don't know. I've been drinking since, I don't know, about 11.
You can't drink all day if you don't start in the morning.
That's right. Try to get that first one in before noon.
Well, we say last one of the season, and the football season does end after tonight. But then the new season starts, and we got draft coming up.
Right. That's the one thing about American football.
There's no off season.
There's no off season.
3-month build up to the draft.
Thanks to Vince McMahon, there will never be another off season
because
he's bringing back the XFL.
Put the
brothers.
XFL in the off season, right?
Yeah. That doesn't start till 2020 though.
Yeah, if it ever starts, but. Maybe we will be here giving you NFL and XFL stuff, right?
Maybe we should have an XFL podcast.
All right, we'll think about that.
We'll think about that one. No, today we're going to talk about the Pats, and we're going to talk about
we just don't
Eagles.
even want to talk about that other team.
We don't. And by the other team, he means the Dallas Cowboys, because there's really no news there.
No,
this
show, that's not really what I meant. But
this show started out, 3 months ago?
Pretty much.
4 months ago on a whim, and it was going to be all about Cowboys because me and Corey took a big hit off the old blunt known as the 2016 Dallas Cowboys where Zeke and Dak and all this great shit was going to happen, and we thought for sure we're going to be talking Super Bowl Sunday, Patriots and Cowboys.
Well, I did just maybe you had those visions of grandeur, but
lo and behold, we are now talking about the Philadelphia Eagles,
freaking Eagles,
and the New England Patriots.
Yeah, so that covers the covers the Cowboys segment. So
right, yeah,
moving
basically,
on.
here's the news for you, Cowboys fans. According to all
no
the
news.
people, according to all the people with the draft, there's only 18 first-round grade picks in this year's draft, and the Cowboys their first-round draft pick is number 19.
Yeah, I
so,
was telling you got to tank that last game, but nobody listened.
Yeah, let's keep winning against those Eagles. But no, so moving on, we've got today, 5:30 on NBC is the biggest football game of the year. It is the Super Bowl.
Dude, that's like 1 hour away.
We've got 1 hour.
Dang. Let's go.
So we have got to get moving because
this ball rolling.
Corey has got to get to Grub. Corey apparently watches all of them at Grub. But we want to thank, before we get going on draft.com, they were there with us, kind of the first people to really say, hey, you can talk about us on there and we'll give you something in return. So draft.com, DWTB, thank you very much for letting us, promote you and giving Corey a little bit of fun and a little bit of way to lose his money this year.
So we're talking about the Eagles. We're talking about the Patriots. One of the most notable Eagles of the last 10, 20 years was Terrell Owens, also Cowboys. So kind of linked in there.
Is it Terrell or Terrell?
Huh?
Is it Terrell or Terrell?
I say Terrell. But anyway, everyone just calls him T.O., and everybody knows that's my quarterback, and everybody knows all the bullshit that he pulled when he was doing push-ups in his driveway, and he's blowing up the 49ers, and he's ruining Bill Parcells and the Cowboys.
Wait, he played somewhere before he played for the Allen Wranglers?
T.O. played for the Allen Wranglers.
T.O. owned part of the Allen Wranglers. I thought that's where he got his big start from.
Shut up. We don't make the NFL Hall of Fame for just playing in the Allen Wranglers.
Oh, man.
But, no, T.O. got inducted into the Hall of Fame. He did have to wait a couple of years. Randy Moss did not have to wait a couple of years. We are going to talk about all of that later, but that does segue us into Eagles-Patriots Super Bowl, which happened 13 years ago in 2005. It came down to the last drive. Eagles had the ball. And then a day later, rumors coming out that in that last drive, Donovan McNabb is like out of shape, throwing up in the huddle and stuff. Eagles came up short, and the Patriots won.
Was he out of shape or was he just drunk?
Well, I mean, it was
The
3 hours
the dude
into
was
it.
sitting in jail for a DWI.
It was 3 hours into a game. I don't think Donovan McNabb was drunk.
Hey, Darryl Strawberry was fucking bitches in between innings, okay?
Look, baseball
Who
has
knows what's going on in the
It's-
NFL?
Random baseball games a little bit different than the Super Bowl chase, I think.
No.
Also, that was a late and great 90s and 80s.
Dude, you just don't get it like that anymore, man.
Nah. So Eagles, man, thank goodness that 15 years later we can still say, well, 13 years later, that we can still say Eagles have never won a Super Bowl, thanks to they laid an egg against the Patriots. And that Super Bowl was one of the ones that the Patriots won the year later, a year after they had beat the Panthers, and that was when they lost their offensive and defensive coordinator, and that's another thing we're going to get to. It's because Patriots are about to lose their offensive and defensive coordinator.
Potentially. For
Patricia's
sure,
gone, but
yeah,
Sean
it broke
McDaniels.
that Matt
sorry.
Patricia. Yeah, Matt Patricia had.
Josh McDaniels.
Yeah, Josh McDaniels hasn't officially said he's going to take the Colts job. Word is Matt Patricia's already let the Patriots know, I am going to Detroit.
Yeah.
Romeo Cornell and Charlie Weiss were the last time this happened.
Right.
Charlie Weiss, man, that guy is fucking fat.
Yeah, he was.
Like,
And then
I
he had
didn't realize how
infamous,
big he was.
all of these KU football coaching memes. Like,
Dude, it's just like...
good old Charlie Weiss.
And the pictures don't even do it justice.
Dude, he's like 6'6", 400 pounds.
Yeah, it was crazy. It's like he's the kind of like Bruce Arians of like being a quarterback whisperer, and I think all that Charlie Weiss ever did was just be like, "Don't be like me, and you can be the greatest quarterback ever."
Oh man. No. Also, speaking of, like the coach back then was Andy Reid for the Philadelphia Eagles, right?
Right.
And he was one of the. I mean, man, he had his Chiefs off to a 6-0 start this year. People thought, I mean, he's still a good coach. So this, to me, the Super Bowl, man, there's a lot of people who don't like either of these teams.
Yeah,
like,
it's the most hated Super Bowl.
People, man, just everywhere, left and right, people are saying this is the suckiest Super Bowl matchup that could ever be. And it has to do with things like, yes, the Patriots have been winning Super Bowls for the last 17 years. And the Eagles fans, have an infamous reputation for bullshit like cheering when a player goes down injured, or also having T.O. on their team doesn't help it.
Plus the fact that you're throwing things at people, you're flipping off children.
Philly fans, even as recently as walking into the stadium when against the Vikings 2 weeks ago.
Right.
Vikings fans are walking by, and Philadelphia Eagles fans are launching completely full beer cans at them. So they're just like launching rocks at them, basically.
Well, and the thing is, is Minnesota decided to get the final laugh on Philadelphia,
right.
And they were like, hey, we're going to sign up as Uber drivers and pick up Eagles fans and take them like 5 miles away from the stadium and just be like, fuck you. And then people who would put their house up on Airbnb, they were getting letters saying, hey, the HOA says that you guys are pieces of shit and we don't want you in our neighborhood.
Can't have anybody that's
best
Eagles
of luck.
Fan.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, that's what they're known for. I know the city of Philadelphia is actually using like the grease that you would use. No, not Crisco.
No,
like the grease that you would grease bearings with in your car.
Oh, kind of like you would grease like drum bearings in a roaster.
Yeah.
Just
so, like when you're roasting coffee and you're just being so sweet with
this is a football show, Chase.
So no, they're going to do that with the polls this year. Pornhub actually offered to donate 150,000 gallons of lube to the city of Philadelphia to help. Nobody wants Philadelphia to win. I feel like people think, oh, it's just a Cowboys thing. It's just a doubt.
Well, Cowboys Nation is the biggest fandom. Cowboys and Patriots fandom is the biggest in America.
Right.
And so, yeah, if everybody who likes the Cowboys does not want the Eagles to win,
right,
then, yeah, that's a hell of a lot of people.
Yeah, it is. And people are, like I see all the memes on Facebook and stuff where it's like, the whole, like, New England area doesn't want them to win, and then there's like a little green spot in Dallas for them to not win. I think it spreads further than that. I think for the past 4 weeks, whatever fucking team the Eagles have played, they don't want them to win.
Right. Well, and so the thing is that look, a lot of people don't like the Patriots. They think the Patriots are cheaters. This, and that, and the other. But
I know they're off getting fucking players for the Eagles sick this week.
Right, spreading the flu, spreading the plague. No, I
Billy.
Don't ever say that on the show again, or I'm going to have to kick you. No, so I've enjoyed so ever since 2001. It basically all comes down to the infamous Lloyd Stevens.
Oh, Lloyd.
And he loved him some St. Louis Rams.
The greatest show on turf.
Greatest show on turf. He loved Kurt Warner's story. He loved him some Dick Vermeil for some reason. He liked the Rams. And so, I was going to cheer for the Patriots because it was no fun otherwise.
Right.
So then 2001,
hey, but
I'm
you
like,
have to admit,
cool.
You have to admit, though, that Titans-Rams Super Bowl.
I was Titans. I was all about that.
I was Titans too, but that was a good game.
It was a hell of a game.
I mean, what was it? A half yard? He came up short.
Right.
Half yard, if that.
It was a heartbreaking ending. Yeah.
Had that been Tom Brady? Had that been Amendola? Touchdown. Touchdown. Because Roger Goodell's still trying to make up for the infamous Deflategate.
Go and plug that stupid thing. No. So basically, it's been a long road here. I've just come to respect the Patriots for the incredible way that they've stayed on top of the football world for such a long period of time, and continue to win. They're 5-2 in Super Bowls over the last 15 years, which is just incredible. They could have 6 Super Bowl wins. Nobody's ever done that.
Right.
No head coach and quarterback combination like that.
Dude,
and then the last few years have been such epic games. They've come down to the 1 yard line against the Seahawks, and we had the whole Panthers Broncos one, and then we came back to the Patriots Falcons 28-3 comeback. It's been some epic games lately, so I expect nothing less.
Well, here's the thing is, like you were saying, they have this amazing run. Belichick and Tom Brady have the most Super Bowl appearances and wins by a coaching combo. They have the most playoff wins by a coach and quarterback combo, and they have the most regular season wins. They're the top of everything. They're the New York Yankees of football. Yeah. And the problem that I think most Americans have is up until about a month ago when the ESPN story leaked about the problems and the dysfunction in the Patriots, they didn't have anything to talk about. Americans, whether it's sports, entertainment, whatever, we all thrive on negativity, bad press, and drama.
And that organization is so well run and so sealed up that there's never negativity to come out. Yeah.
And that's the thing is, people get on Belichick about his press conference.
I know I saw boring and whatever. But
it's not boring. Belichick is slightly an asshole. And I think you kind of have to be that successful.
It's okay. You deserve it. You could be whatever you want to be.
Well, and he was being interviewed, and one of the reporters was like, well, what's different about this appearance than any of your other Super Bowl appearances? And he said it's in Minnesota.
Right.
So, I mean,
that's just dry humor that everybody just seems to learn to love.
Right. And so that's, I think, why there's such a hatred toward the Patriots is, A, your team can't beat them.
Yeah.
And B, you have nothing to thrive on with the negativity.
Yeah.
Which is why they've been able to come through and run this thing like a dynasty. You haven't seen this in sports since about, the 90s with the Bulls?
Yeah. And, no, and so
you don't see this in football anymore.
That was a little bit longer sustained. That was 6 straight, right? 6 8 appearances.
Yeah, it was
5 straight wins or something, whatever. So there is that to this dynasty that they had. They won in 2001. They beat Panthers the next year. I think they had a miss. They didn't get to the Super Bowl. They beat the Eagles. So 3 of them, and then 2 have come within the last 3 years. So they could go for 3 and 4 in the last few years. Well, they had this great big span where the Colts were winning Super Bowls and the Steelers were winning Super Bowls, and God, the Ravens won a Super Bowl with Flacco.
The Colts won one Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Well, the way you made it sound like they were off running like two.
No, I'm just saying who was appearing in it, and they also appeared in the next one, and the Saints won it, and so it was all this non-Patriots. Well, it's one. Yeah, it's very complicated to get back to the top, but they've done it. And so, yes, truly, it's been this long, slow burn, but there's only been like these two peaks. One of the things I wanted to get into is that, and I touched on it earlier, is that when they won, when they beat the Panthers in 2004, they lost their coordinators after that. And so Charlie Weiss and Romeo Crennel went away. And so then they did manage to beat the Eagles. But then after that was when they stopped winning Super Bowls, and that's when they lost both their coordinators at the same time. Well, that's probably going to happen again. So, in your mind, with what's been going on in the press recently about the organization, plus losing some major players, is this going to be the end for another 5 years?
See, that's the thing is I don't see that happening. I think there's enough of a cushion there, and there's enough of a system that's in there. Bill Belichick has his hand on everything. Bill Belichick, is this mastermind of things where he loves the special teams. He loves the defense. He loves the offense. He does all of it. He is a defensive-minded player, but I think it's one of those things where it might be kind of like it was when Tom Brady had his suspension. They were still able to pull some wins out. They were still able to go to the Super Bowl that year. And I don't think it's going to be something where, it might be something where we see a little bit of a struggle, a little bit of something to where they have to fix some issues.
Yeah.
I definitely see them in the AFC Championship again.
Right. And the thing is, they are better. Like, They were new to this whole thing. To have the greatness that they've put on display, organizationally, excellence wise, strategically, free agency draft, the greatness that they've shown over the last 15 years, they've gotten you. That requires you to get better, because someone else is going to get better,
right?
And so. If we're talking 13 years ago that they won a Super Bowl and then didn't appear for several years, well, they're better now. Yeah, they know how to adjust to that. They know how to handle that. Yes, they're losing their coordinators, but they're not losing everybody. And they also know that time is short. There is an incredible sense of urgency if you're Bill Belichick to say, and you're Tom Brady, to say, hey, I've got 3 or 4 more years.
Right.
Like I can talk about I'm gonna be playing until I'm 45 and no one's gonna stop me. But you know what? Sometimes things stop you.
You know who stops you usually?
Like a Ray Lewis who blows out your ACL or something
Father
like that.
Time usually shuts it down.
Right. And so there's a sense of urgency, and so I think that could definitely help propel the Patriots past that doldrum area. Like they know that their window, like the window is always open if Bill Belichick stays and coaches for another 20 years. But the Tom Brady window has to be addressed.
Yeah.
And that's about to close. Maybe 4 years is the max. And so they got to do something about that.
I think it'll be very interesting to see in the draft because they don't have a backup.
Right. Man, damn, they dropped the ball on that Garoppolo thing, did they not?
Well, Garoppolo's a free agent again.
Oh,
so
yeah,
it might be
right.
something where
they
sign
him
back.
He proved himself pretty good.
Right. And so it's going to be
long-term
interesting in the offseason. Do they sign Garoppolo back? Do they start making some trades to try to move up on the draft board? What's going to be the game plan?
No, they can groom some new 4th round, 5th round, 6th round pick.
Yeah, but those guys are just
I know they're shots in the dark, but they don't they'll get some random ass backup. Sure, for the next year, right? But yeah, the whole backup plan is not an urgency. Tom, so we're talking, hey, who can we find? And it doesn't have to be this year, and it could be you just try it for a couple of years, and you're just trying to get somebody who's going to be real quality, and you're going to groom him, and he's just going to be the perfect replacement, and they're going to plug and play. That would be the ideal. Anyway, so we've talked about history. We talked about the last few years. I can only hope for something as epic as Julian Edelman making that catch he did last year in the comeback against
that was
the
a great
Falcons.
catch.
So
speaking of the last,
get to that little thing about the Super Bowl rings.
So the Super Bowl rings were given out for last year, and I believe it was the owner of the Atlanta Falcons,
Arthur Blank.
Yes, was interviewed by ESPN. ESPN is the one that was reporting it. And I didn't know this. Even being a Patriots fan, I didn't know it. But in the Super Bowl ring for that win, there was 283 diamonds.
Why was there 283 diamonds, Chase?
283 diamonds symbolizes the 28-3 deficit that the Patriots overcame to make that Super Bowl win happen.
Yep.
And first Super Bowl to go into overtime.
Yeah.
It was a great game. It was.
You can also bet on that if you want. That will the Super Bowl go into overtime again? I think it's like 10-1 odds.
Yeah, I don't.
There's so many prop bets. It is fun to listen to, but I've never been one to pull the trigger on any of that. But
no, so Arthur's a little pissed off at Robert Kraft for kind of a cheap shot. I think it's great.
I think it's great because
you don't
it's like
it?
Bill Belichick, the meme lord. Like 28-3 became a meme for a long time. It became this 3-1. Warriors blew a 3-1 lead. That was a meme for a long time in the sports world. So Bill Belichick's just sitting around. He's like, "How can we stick to the Falcons?"
I mean, the guys up at Barstool are. They have their 28-3 flag that you see all over the place. It became such a huge deal. And it's one of those things where, like, why the fuck is Randy Newman staring at us?
I don't know.
So it's one of those things that was kind of funny that I thought came across my stuff that I saw today. But this is looking good. Gronk passed through concussion protocol, so he'll be playing tonight.
So we know for sure that it's not going to be Edelman making that catch.
It's not going to be Edelman making that catch.
He's been out the entire year. But guys like Amendola, guys like Gronk, guys like James White, guys like Rex Burkhead's playing his own, those might be the guys for the Patriots who step up, just make one or two scores that are key in the fourth quarter. The people have been talking about this all week, about how the the Patriots games in the Super Bowl typically stay close. They're always like 3-point wins or something.
Right.
You can't expect. It would be incredibly rare to see a blowout.
Is you have the.
So who's going to make that last catch?
Yeah, I think players have that. Like, when you're playing the Patriots, you can't ever be comfortable. No. Like the Falcons last year got comfortable.
Yeah.
And they got comfortable not going this year. They got comfortable sitting at home all off season, pissing and moaning about how they didn't fucking do anything because they got shut down. Because you can't let Tom Brady. You win the game when you have the ball with the final seconds. Because Tom Brady can make it happen. Yeah. And I've been watching that Tom versus Time, which most of it's fucking bullshit. Like, it's not entertaining at all. I know I'm not supposed to say anything, but his F word followed by Emily, they're a little fucking creepy. His wife's hot, but I feel like she's over the top about, like, she almost reminds me of like a Celine Dion. Like back when Anna Geisler used to play her on Saturday Night Live. But, there's a few points in there where it really kind of shows like Tom Brady being Tom Brady. And Tom talks about the TB12 deal, about how athleticism and everything like that has always been hard for him. But leadership and the game between the ears has always been his real big thing. And that's really what you see. He's a flat-footed thrower. He's not very fast. But he can always find a way to make it work.
Yeah. And
that's why I think the Patriots have had, no matter what's gone on inside of the Patriots, they've always been able to come out, to at least compete at the top.
Yeah.
They've been a top-tier organization, and they'll stay a top-tier organization.
So, I think that this is, this is such a peculiar. This reminds me a lot. Okay, the reason why the Patriots are only a 4-point favorite. This reminds so many people of the Giants. The Giants were the only team who are able to beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl. Patriots would have been like they took an undefeated season and the Giants dethroned them. They went the next year. The Giants beat them.
Stop saying the Giants. Say Eli Manning.
Yeah. So Eli Manning is this goofy ass quarterback
Yeah,
who's never been as good as his older brother and never been all that great anyway. He's not going to. He should not make the Hall of Fame. He's just been a pretty good quarterback. But the Giants managed to beat the Patriots. And why? They had Michael Strahan and Justin Tuck and O.C. Umanura, and they had that guy Jason Pierre-Paul in the second one. They had all these guys on the defensive line who gave Tom Brady hell. Well, that's the Patriots. That's the Eagles' strength.
Right.
Is their defensive line. And they also have this random-ass quarterback who's been good, who's been bad. Nobody knows what Nick Foles is going to show up. It's like even in those Pats-Giants Super Bowls, it's not like Eli Manning was some god amongst men. He just was really good in a couple drives. That's all it takes.
Right.
And then, random-ass David Tyree's making a catch.
Yeah.
Like,
on his helmet?
Yeah.
Helmet catch?
Yeah. So it's little things like that, and that's all it takes. But there's a lot of similarities, and that's why with all the Patriots' experience and with all the advantages that they might have, they're just a 4-point favorite, and it's because of that Eagles defensive line.
Right.
That is literally the envy of the entire league.
So we are now about 33 minutes from kickoff. We're about 25 minutes from Pink singing the national anthem. So with that being said, Corey, where are you going on this game? Where are you feeling? What do you remove biases away? Take all the hatred for the Eagles that you have. What are we saying here?
I am well prepared to say Pats 3-point win. I'd say max 30 points, 31 points. So anything around the 27 to 24 range. Maybe a little high scoring because honestly the Eagles have an okay offense too.
Right.
They got some skill players. We were listing them out. Jay Ajayi, Zach Ertz, tight end, Jay Ajayi, running back, Alshon Jeffrey. Nick Foles was balling last week. The thing is that Nick Foles, historically, when you have an incredible game in the championship game and then you go into the Super Bowl, people don't play the same.
Right.
And you've got some of those examples for people who've gone up against the Patriots, and Bill Belichick finds a way to shut them down. He finds a way to shut down what you're doing best. So it all comes down to that Nick Foles thing.
Right. Here's one stat that I think Eagles fans are going to appreciate, or people going for the Eagles. I don't think you have to be an Eagles fan to go for the Eagles, or a Pats fan to go for the Pats. I think it almost lines up with where's your hate? Is it like 51-49? You hate the Eagles, so you're just going to go for the Patriots.
Right.
So but the last quarterback to win a Super Bowl, who was in the Super Bowl the year that they got the MVP, was Kurt Warner.
So MVPs never win Super Bowls. That's what
basically that's what the statistic says. But the statistics also show the past, whatever, they're 13-3 for wearing white, the white jerseys.
Right.
Who knows? I do know that history will tell you that if half your fucking team catches the flu the week of the Super Bowl,
that's a bad sign.
Bad sign.
No, so like some of the let's go through some of those key players for the Eagles defense: Vinny Curry, Timmy Jernigan, Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham, all on the defensive line.
His name's Fletcher Cox.
Fletcher Cox.
Well, it sounds like a fucking porn name.
It might. And Jalen Mills, Rodney McLeod. So we got those, and then Ronald Darby. So we got like some of these unknown cornerbacks And I thought that was one of the best segments I ever listened to on the radio this week about the Super Bowl was, hey, if the Eagles decide to play defense in the way that we are going to pressure Tom Brady, because that is the formula that has worked in the past,
right,
to get him off his game and to make the Patriots lose, then the result of that, you're constrained to 11 players on defense, is that your secondary ends up playing 1-on-1.
right.
So, if we're talking a 24-21 kind of victory, it's only a few scores. We're only talking 3 touchdowns or more. Is it going to be one random play where one of these unproven cornerbacks can't make the tackle? When you're matching up against the likes of Edelman, Brandon Cooks,
you don't have Edelman, you have Amendola,
and Gronkowski. The Patriots clearly have an offensive advantage over the Eagles' secondary.
Right. Well,
but
with
it's
Gronk,
all about, can the Eagles get pressure quickly with 4 men?
With Gronk, you've got a 6'4", almost 6'5" guy that can bust through the middle of your defense. And that's going to be a huge problem, is to watch the safeties and see how they defend Gronk. Are they going to put somebody on Gronk? Are they going to open up opportunities on the outside there with Amendola and Cooks?
Yeah.
What's going to be the game plan? And
what everyone talks about is you have to double-team Gronk, right?
Right.
Okay, but the thing is, you switch your schemes throughout the game. You might have tendencies. Yeah, half your plays you might play cover 2, but you change things up. And so it's going to be those 1, 2, 3 little plays where they don't double cover Gronk, and then all of a sudden he busts off a 50-yard run or something like that.
Right.
It's going to things like that. That's good. It's going to come down keys for the game. And think about also that the Patriots offense, which scored 30-something points to come back against the Falcons, added Brandon Cooks and didn't really to replace Julian Edelman, who is definitely, arguably, a better outside threat.
Right.
So man.
But Amendola's held his own.
Yeah. No. I mean, he's stepped up, and you also have that Ben Hogan guy, right? The random ass lacrosse player. Thank goodness they're not going to talk about that story again.
No.
Because they wore it out last year. But no, the Eagles skillfully improved their offense over the offseason because they had extreme problems last year with Carson Wentz having no one to throw to and the most drops in the league. Well, then they added Alshon Jeffrey, and Zach Ertz stepped up. So the Eagles don't have a bad offense, but it all comes down to Nick Foles, right?
It all comes down to Nick Foles, Nick Foles shows up,
and then their Eagles schemes. How effectively can they stop them? So we're gonna, the main thing that we've learned, guys, halftime score means nothing.
Right.
It's just
fourth quarter score doesn't really mean nothing.
Third quarter score doesn't even mean anything. Also, it'd probably be a slow start game because typically they're really boring first quarters with the
fourth
Belichick
quarter
Super Bowls.
2-minute warning. You can start.
Then we can get some
ready.
scoring, right? So just hold your horses. There should be some fireworks, but maybe it truly will be over in the second quarter. Maybe the Patriots go out to a big lead. Maybe the Eagles come out to a big lead, and they don't ever, let the Patriots come back.
Justin Timberlake coming back. They're not letting Janet Jackson come with him this time.
Right, we're not going to have any of that.
No, I can't show tits.
Are we going to have I think they talked about a Prince hologram for halftime.
They were talking about possibly a Prince song because of the thing.
So
we're going into our last
Let's
10 minutes of the season for Drinking with the Boys. If you like this, we have some other stuff coming up this year with Cold Beers and Curveballs. We'll be kicking off here in about 11 days with pitchers and catchers reporting for spring training.
Also, how about Loki? What about that off season? Whereas nothing's happened. And we've got Todd Frazier. Man, we're going to have a Cold Beers and Curveballs segment soon because there's a hell of a lot of players who still need to be signed. And people like Kenley Jansen are talking about they need to strike in solidarity with these nobody being signed.
Right,
I feel like the owners are colluding. Anyway, so enough baseball.
But that plus there's also plans for the launch of a new website called walkoffsports.com.
Boom.
Could be for some writing. So definitely be looking out for that. So going into that, maybe we can get mossed just like the Hall of Fame did this year.
Just got mossed.
They got mossed. He's the only
touchdown.
Third player in NFL history to be a first ballot inner.
Who else was that?
Jerry Rice.
Or third wide receiver.
No, third player in history. and the other one was a quarterback, but I can't remember who it was.
Okay.
But I know it was him and Jerry Rice.
Interesting.
T.O. got put in. Urlacher's in.
Yeah, so Urlacher and Ray Lewis for linebackers, which definitely were the best linebackers of their time.
Because the NFL is fucking smart, guys. And you know what they say? We don't care what happens off the field. We only grade on what happened on the field. And that's why guys like unconvicted murderer Ray Lewis gets to enjoy the Hall of Fame.
No, see, they did care about what happened off the field.
No.
Because T.O. otherwise would have got in first or second ballot. He had to wait 3 years to the third year.
No, T.O. was fucking stupid.
Well, he was. You're right. It wasn't off the field so much with T.O. because it was in the locker room issues.
Yeah.
That had a lot to do with it. But
it was let's go run and stick our hands up in the middle of the star on the 50-yard line.
Yeah. T.O.'s numbers are arguably, when you're looking at wide receiver production in recent history, are better than Randy Moss's, but everybody knows who watched the game that Randy Moss was unquestionably better. He had speed for days. He had the height. He had the athleticism. The 50 touchdowns that Tom Brady threw that undefeated season, he and Randy Moss were just having a ball out there. Nothing was uncatchable.
Really the only black wide receiver Tom Brady's really had.
Pretty much ever had. No, Randy Moss deservedly. And that's the thing when you have incredible skill, so many players, guys like, I'm going to throw LeBron and MJ in the same category. Players with incredible, once-in-a-generation skill who had the work ethic to go along with it. Well, the thing is, Randy Moss had that skill, but, people said, he kind of lollygagged in practice, and sometimes he took games off and whatever. But when it counted, if you ran him deep, he could run past anybody.
Right. Now, I would also throw Kobe Bryant into that discussion.
Yeah, no, damn straight.
Number 8 and 24, Kobe Bryant. I didn't see a difference.
Kobe's my guy. So that pretty much is the Hall of Fame class. There was a couple other old guys. Brian Dawkins, was he? I think he was pretty close. Brian Dawkins making it. Next year we got Ed Reed coming up on the ballot. I think Ed Reed definitely deserves to be way up there in voting. Tony Gonzalez coming up.
Oh, yeah, Tony Gonzalez
year.
for sure.
But, yeah, that's Hall of Fame for you. That's Super Bowl for you. We're not going to bug you because, man, it is 5 o'clock somewhere, and it is time for the Super Bowl.
We are 22 minutes away, so me and Corey were enjoying some Budweiser. I feel like going classic on games
we're going to
like
see some
this.
Clydesdales and some puppies, and of course there's a Budweiser commercial.
Right, and I feel like Budweiser, Budweiser is one of those things where, we do a lot of craft beers. We talk about that stuff. But I think Budweiser on occasions like this is fair. That opening day, things like that. So, Corey, you're going to be watching it at Grub.
Yeah, repping the Grub Burger Bar, College Station Original. They treat me good in Greenville Avenue in Dallas.
So that's where Corey is headed off to.
Hang out.
I'm going to watch it at home tonight and enjoy that. Hopefully I can make it up for work tomorrow. But it's been a lot of fun for this first season, and we're going to be coming back with you for draft stuff. Any breaking news that happens during the off season, we'll be able to cover. Probably be looking
stuff like
to see
the Alex Smith trade,
right? And Kirk Cousins deal, all that stuff.
There's going to be a lot of stuff.
It should be a lot of fun. So, Corey, thank you for joining me with Drinking with the Boys. So, check us out online, Instagram, Drinking with the Boys, Drinking with the Boys for Facebook, DRNKNW the Boys at Twitter, and enjoy Super Bowl Sunday and drink lots of beer and get ready to call out for work on Monday because you will be hungover.
Quick, Chase, what's your pick?
I got Patriots.
I need a score.
34-27.
Ooh, 7-point win, huh?
7-point win.
All right, let's roll with it.
Awesome.
I hope it never ends. I was at my best when I